Welcome to the Art Lady's home, and today I'm going to take you into my garden and show you what mid-July here in Zone 9, Central Florida looks like. And of course everything has overgrown. I've been trimming, and I still have a lot more trimming to do. The tree above this mailbox is a tulip tree which blooms giant, beautiful purple, light pink actually, tulip flowers. From mid-June to the end of July, mid-August, is these gorgeous pagodas. It's called a pagoda plant. And they grow and flower profusely for several months. And up to, I think some of them are like 15 feet tall maybe. I'm going to take you in and show you what's blooming in my garden in July. The entrance arbor has 4 plants growing along up it. The one that's kind of taking over is the wisteria. And that, there's also a giant Dutchman's pipe, and that's what's blooming right now on the arbor. And there are the heart-shaped leaves right here. And the bloom is about 6 to 7 inches. It's a chartreuse type green with a mahogany type purple. I'm going to walk down through this little alleyway. Pagodas. Now this is the side yard, and here's our beautiful pagodas. I'm going to walk under them. This is the view of the side garden, and it's lined with a little brick wall that's partially buried, and it opens up into a vacant lot next to me. And this is quite shady, so I haven't planted it up with too much. It's more just natural and tropical. We have to mow a little area, otherwise we will be swimming in these fern that have naturalized in this area, which it's a Boston fern, and it is an invasive species here because it just takes over. It's taken over this whole lot, and I have to have a big mow strip here so that it doesn't come into my yard. And actually you can see it's come into the flower beds quite a bit here. But I've lined this with my pagodas so they form like a wall, and then it opens into my front yard. This is the front yard, and we did a lot of yard work yesterday, and I'm going to be restoring the waterfall that comes down the middle of the front yard. And this I built about 22 years ago maybe, and it was working for like 15, and after my son was born it stopped working and started leaking, and so we're going to restore it now, many years later. Here's the front view coming into the side yard. And I have a lot of orchid trees along this edge. And there's a beautiful tulip tree planted. I did that many years ago as well. So it's beautiful in the spring. This is the area that I need to do a lot more work on. This in here, the side yard. This is the view as you enter into the garden. Just gorgeous. It makes it magical. And they tower up over the house. It's really fun walking through here because it's they're all just above you. It's like truly into a gorgeous tropical jungle. And they shade a lot. Sometimes I even break off the branches because they're shading other plants. I break off some of the stems, or not the stems, the leaves. Because they have such broad, wide leaves that sometimes the plant is just shading whatever I have growing underneath. So I trim it down a little, or if it's in my walkway, I just cut the leaf off and it doesn't seem to hurt it. They're a tougher than nails plant. Of course, they wouldn't be growing like this if they weren't, because these are basically no care once they're established. And here's the little alleyway walking back through. So I'm actually walking underneath this one that has blown over. And this is the entrance into this little mini garden back here. And the brick path is 22 years old. And it needs a lot of repair. We'll get to it eventually. And this is, I'm going to be bricking in this wall as well here. I do it little by little. And actually this summer, I've been doing a lot more because of the lockdowns. That has given me time to work in the garden. Normally I'd be traveling or just recouping from school. The school year, working. And I have a tropical banana tree back here as well. It's behind. And it is old as well. It's 15 years maybe, 20 years maybe. A lot of this predates my son, who is 16 years old. After that, my garden was neglected for a good 12 years. A good 12 years. The bromeliads grow right up this tree. And I don't know how safe it is for the tree or great for the tree. And the tree is a live oak. So what I do is I trim it. They're prolific here too, and they just grow like crazy and multiply like crazy. My neighbor has half her yard in these. All different varieties of bromeliads grow here really well. So I trim them. I pull out, every other one as it goes up the tree. Otherwise, I don't want it to smother this tree. I'm not sure if it can, but I don't want it to introduce any kind of disease to the tree. And then here's the start of the season here. One little one is showing a bloom. And this path we put in this past winter. After the pool was built, this was just a mess back here. And the plants on the right that you see here have been here. All of these trees that are blocking the view of the streets and stuff. But the path that they used to get in and out to build the pool is on the left of the pagoda, or the archway. So to the left of the archway here, everything is new within a year and a half. That's how they got in and out with the trucks. And the grass is new as well. We had to, the whole backyard was just a huge mess when we built the pool. That has very poor soil, so I've been amending it. That's right there, the black on the top is cow manure. Black Cow, I think, is the brand I use. Because the soil is just a clay base, just yellowy, real bad soil. Now, towering above the backyard, I have a beautiful magnolia tree. And this was natural to the area, so it's a native magnolia. And then there's also a live oak. And it got struck by lightning. And this was about 25 years ago, maybe. And it's coming back. And I had a tree expert look at it, and he said it was still doing well. That didn't hurt it. And he said that it was healing. So we're going to just see. I had a lot of the branches trimmed that were coming over the pool area. And the magnolia, let's see if I can focus it. I did see a flower. Let's see. I think, yeah, you can see it. It's right there. It was blooming quite a bit last week, and then there's one little one left. And when you take a magnolia, a southern magnolia like this, and they're huge, they're like 8 to 10 inches, and you bring it inside your house, one magnolia smells the whole house up. And those are just beautiful. I have wisteria growing over this, and I'm trying to cut it down. I constantly have to cut it down and chop it. There's other vines as well. There's a giant Dutchman's pipe, and then I have a honeysuckle. The wisteria doesn't bloom well, and I'm going to try it one more year, and then if I don't get a lot of blooms, I'm just going to get rid of it. The blooms only last a week, and they're almost more trouble. This variety that I have is almost more trouble than it's worth, because it sends up so many shoots and vines, and it just gets all over the yard. And almost every 2 days I've got to trim. You can see where I've trimmed on the right and haven't done it on the left yet, but they send out these giant shoots within like a day, and it just looks really messy. And in order for it to bloom, you're supposed to cut back those summer growth shoots constantly, and it's a lot of work. So if you're going to be doing a wisteria, make sure you research your variety, and I don't know which one I have, because this one I found growing in the side of the woods. There's the amazing canopy of these oaks, which I think is a great part of a garden, because it's your view everywhere. You know, what you see in front of you, below you, your eye level. And then when I'm in the pool, I'm always looking up and seeing this amazing, gorgeous canopy. And then, of course, the sounds and the smells, that's all what make up a garden. This is inside the pool area, and I absolutely love planting flowers so that I can enjoy them while I'm swimming in the pool. And the pagodas put on an amazing show. There's the view. And this is the view while you're in the pool. put those little glass balls there so it continues the kind of round bubbly effect. And then they catch the sun. And that's on the outside, so if any damage happens to them, the glass won't come into the pool. In the hot tub area, I have a night blooming cereus that has some buds on it, which is pretty exciting. This is the first time they've actually bloomed for me. My family has, several of my family members have them and they bloom all the time for them, but this is the clipping that I have, and it finally bloomed, which I'm so excited about. So one of these nights, the bottom one is going to be probably, I'm guessing, in a few nights. And then there's one at the top that's going to take a little bit longer. And from what I'm told, they bloom about 10:30 at night, probably around the same time the jessamine and my jasmines are blooming too, the night bloomings. So we'll be looking for that right there, so I'm real excited. And I also have some of this variegated ginger that really loves it out here. And of course you have these tropical palms that do well. I think they like all the steam from the hot tub. And then I have the huge bird of paradise, and I'm hoping that this will bloom sometime soon as well. And in my other planter on the other side of the pool, I have I believe it's a ladyfinger palm, and I really love that because it grows slow and looks really good. It fills that space but yet doesn't hide that wall. Here's another view of those trees, and I just absolutely love looking up while I'm in the pool and seeing this. It's just beautiful. And then beyond the magnolia is the live oak canopy. There is a dead tree I've got to cut down right there. And then over here I have some camphor trees that need trimming too as well. I started having them trimmed, but there's still more to trim. And there is the hot tub area from in the pool.